If we all understand that today the challenge is really to save our planet for the future generations, to make this a livable place forever, to keep it alive forever, and keep the temperatures below these 2 degrees. If we all agree that this is now something we need to address one way or the other, some people may actually be benefiting from this transition, from this change, but many people are suffering, are losing out on it. We cannot anymore ignore that this has to go hand in hand with addressing environmental challenges. Green jobs is there in the ILO, it's there to stay. Green jobs, green employment are those jobs and those occupations of people who deal with the efficiency of our natural environment in terms of saving energy and water, doing something on waste reduction, so produce less waste, reduce the emission of CO2 and other greenhouse gases, and finally all the jobs produced or generated in the effort to maintain our biodiversity, our ecosystems, our natural environment. So we distinguish between jobs which are green because they produce a final product which is green, and jobs which are green in the process of making that product green. Economies in rural areas are a potential for green jobs, but it's also hard to actually get to it. It's important to these organizations and these workers and entrepreneurs in rural areas, but it's a challenge.
Or waste management is a sector that has a lot of potential for economic diversification. I think economic diversification would offer a lot of space for green jobs. Even if you don't go fully organic, you can make a good. You can make agriculture greener by teaching farmers on using less pesticides and being a bit more conservative in the use it more appropriately, and same with watering techniques. Drip irrigation, for example, is much better than flooding fields with water and overusing water.
We have instruments, we have good examples from countries like Indonesia, where we have developed not in agriculture but in tourism many eco-friendly jobs, green jobs, through the greening of hotels, so to save money on energy, on water, and to do more about waste. We helped training hotel personnel, entrepreneurs to start new activities, to demonstrate that this is possible. But the government has understood this is actually of interest for the national levels.
Very small initiatives of collecting plastic bottles and crushing them and then selling this plastic again. That, for example, or proper waste management plants.
So a just transition is a transition which takes care of those who are badly affected, enterprises also, and then workers and communities, and make sure that everybody has a gain eventually in terms of decent work, in terms of a job and an income, and social protection. Governments have a major role to play to set up an enabling framework, a policy, a regulatory framework in terms of certification of green products, in terms of investing in agriculture there where there are problems in terms of climate or eco-efficiencies, energy efficiencies, and so on. Government have to put innovation and business development up front in their industry agenda. So a lot of governments can impulse, can initiate and set the framework to facilitate that, can take away subsidies of what we call the wrong goods, such as fuel or unsustainable forest exploitation, and pricing things better, more real in terms of their environmental costs. So changing subsidies and taxes to reflect the real cost we do to nature. Employers' organizations can really promote this greening of enterprises, to take up greener business models, develop new markets, stimulate investments, bring other people from abroad to show how you can gain and reduce costs and gain markets from go greening. And then, of course, the trade unions, they are very concerned with labor rights and employment per se. Unemployment should be reduced. There's a large issue there which the trade unions need to take on, and they can take it on. In this transition, there is a lot of negotiation happening about changing these jobs or even losing those jobs and finding other ones. So collective bargaining for people affected in industries and sectors is important. But also make sure that those labor rights which were established and acquired are maintained in this newer green economy, and help creating more decent jobs out of this transition as well.